Welcome back to Stop Guessing, Start Testing. Sue McLachlan here, and coming to you from the doom spiral of, oh no, what is working in 2026? Because it feels like everyone is chasing this elusive what's working in 2026, because there have been changes in the market, in the economy, and it feels like that is the content of the season. Everyone is yelling, hey, this is what works now. And especially when some really major players have recently made big changes to their business, like Amy Porterfield closing down her $60 million digital course academy. There have been a lot of people talking about it and a lot of doom and gloom because of that. But I need you to remember something before you start going into a panic, pivot, or spiral. Most of the stuff that you're seeing, watching, hearing, listening to, reading about what's working in 2026 is that person sharing what works for them with their business model, their audience size, their costs, and their own definition of success. Because they're describing what works for them, and that doesn't mean it is a universal truth for everyone in the industry, because what's working is so subjective. It depends on your cost structure. It depends on what you like to do on your stage of business, whether you're new or more established, whether you have other products, whether you do other things. And almost all of the content I've seen has been really frustrating me because it's people presenting their personal results as if it is some industry-wide truth. Now, these industry changes are real. Like, people are seeing things that they used to do, maybe not being as effective as they once were. But that doesn't mean strategies are dead. It doesn't mean that no one's ever going to be able to sell a course before just because Amy Porterfield isn't doing Digital Course Academy anymore. It doesn't mean the whole course industry is dead because AI is having a big impact. I mean, maybe for Amy, the way she was doing it with a lot of expenses, a very heavy team, high customer acquisition costs through ads that were probably getting more and more expensive, a lot more competition than she's had in the past. Maybe that wasn't working. And, she said that she wants to pivot to different things. That could be part of it as well. Like, maybe that style of work, she's done it for 10 years. She wants to try something else. And I mean, it is a lot harder to sell via ads. And AI is 1000% changing how people learn and how people create content. And all of that content is flooding the market. Trust building is more crucial than ever. You may need to do more work on that than you needed to do in 2015 or 2020, but it doesn't mean that things are dead. You may just need to adapt and adjust. But remember, how successful something is, or how much that you feel it works or someone else feels that it works, is completely unique to every person and every business. Like, if you're brand new to the digital product industry and you make 20 grand from a launch, that might be the most incredible and life-changing thing that you've done. You could view that as a spectacular success and you are thrilled. Whereas for someone who's further along in their business with team costs, contractors, ad expenses, and all of that, that $20,000 launch could be an absolute disaster that leaves them changing, pivoting, and not wanting to do things anymore, because it is different for everyone. So you need to know what success means to you, because if you don't know what success would look like, well, how can you evaluate whether something is successful or not? Like, if you don't know what it works means, then how are you going to judge it? And how are you going to know if it worked for you or not? Like, are your goals related to money? Is it a monetary goal that would signify success? Is it being able to do something in the most simple and stress-free way? And if you can, get through an entire launch and only work 4 hours a day and, have meditation sessions or whatever it would be to indicate that that was simple and stress-free, maybe that is your version of success. Maybe that would be you going, oh my God, that works. I want to do more of that. Maybe it's the number of people, the impact that you have, or something else altogether, because it is so unique. And that's where, if you know that, that's where you can then evaluate when you test things out to see whether it works or not. Now, you may only make enough money to cover costs, But if the impact that you've had with your program, if the number of people that you've had go through your program and what they tell you is just mind-blowingly awesome, then that could leave you with a sense of incredible success. You could be like, oh man, that works. And that's the thing, it is so different. Could have a six-figure launch or a multi-six-figure launch, even $1 million launch, but doing that leaves you suffering with so much stress and having to drop everything in your life, and you are exhausted and you are snapping at your family and friends, and you may be like, "Oh, I don't care that I made a heap of money. I will never do that again because the money isn't worth it." But for someone else, maybe it is worth it. And that's why it's really, really important to know what success means for you, and that it could change over time. Like, some things may work or be successful by your own definition for a while, but as your business grows and matures, your definition of what works or success might change. So you might need to change your offers accordingly and test out some new things to see what works in this new reality. But the important thing is that you get to decide. You don't need to make decisions about your business by what someone else says is the thing that is working in 2026. I mean, I absolutely think it is a fantastic idea to get ideas and inspiration from what other people are saying works for them, but try to get underneath it. Try to understand why it's working for them. Like, what is it about their business that makes them say, this thing is working for me right now? For example, I saw a YouTube video last week from someone saying digital products and courses are dead. They are not selling digital products and courses anymore, but they said what is working is making money from brand sponsorships and ad revenue. They're like, courses, I'm not even actively selling them because the brand sponsorships are bringing me in way more money and it is a lot easier. And so that could leave you thinking, okay, so maybe I need to do something to get brand deals. But the thing is, the reason why it's working for them is because they have a few 100,000 YouTube subscribers. They are a YouTube pro who has made hundreds of videos and they've been on YouTube for 10 years. If that's not you, then maybe it's not going to work for you if you are not in the same situation. However, if you were a YouTuber and you do have a heap of subscribers and you're not yet doing brand deals and sponsorships, and you've been doing courses, then that might make sense for you to test that out and see if it works for you. The only thing certain is change. Change is the only thing that's going to happen in our industry. And the reason things change is because people try out different ideas. If they see that things aren't working by their own definition, maybe they'll try something else and see if that works better for them. And, the same people who were selling courses being the big savior from one-to-one work or service provider work, so, 5 years ago, are now saying that one-to-one is the thing that's working, and they're pivoting to that. And you don't know the reasons why. Maybe it's because they got completely burnt out, or maybe they wanted to simplify their business and not have to run ads anymore because they're finding it really difficult. Maybe they don't want the stress of managing a team anymore. So simplification is the thing that is driving what is successful for them. So you got to understand why someone is saying the thing that works. And for you to work out what is going to work for you, well, firstly, you need to know what success means for you so that you can know if something is successful, if it works or not. And then you can try out some different strategies. Try some of the things that you see people talking about that you feel are aligned with your business and what you like to do. Maybe you'll test something out and you are like, nope, that is so not me. I realize that lots of people are really successful for that, but that I hate it and I don't want to do it. Maybe it's something where you need to test it out a few times, or you need to go through the process multiple times because the first time you try it, maybe it doesn't work, it doesn't have the impact you expected, but that's just because it's the first time you've tried it. A lot of strategies need time and refining in order to make them work. When you do something new for the first time, for example, if you have never presented a webinar before, it would be pretty unfair to judge whether webinars are a successful tool for you because your first webinar is probably not going to be your best work. You'll probably need to do 10 or maybe even 20 webinars before you're super confident on a webinar, selling feels comfortable, and you have really nailed down that process, which is where you've got to put in the work to get good at things. And as you go through it and try things again and again, you will be able to notice, hey, when I change this, then it had a better impact. Like it felt like it worked better for me. Maybe it'll be that you try a strategy and you're like, I don't care. I've done 10 webinars and I still hate it and I never want to be on video again. Okay, so you can try something different out. Now, it may change and evolve over time, as you change, as your business evolves, as you grow, you learn what you like and you don't like doing. Like that can take some time. And also, it's about building the skills as well. That can also take time. But my most important message would be please test things out, work out what success means for you, and then test out the strategies that you think might work because no one can say whether it will work or if it won't. You've got to learn that by doing and by trying. And that's one of the reasons why I've decided that my entire 2026 is just going to be one giant experiment to see what works and hopefully discover what doesn't for my business and my personality. I'm testing out some things that I've never done before. I'm testing out things that I have maybe tried in the past and haven't done for a while and want to see if they still work, such as webinar launches, such as doing a self-study course versus a course with support, because I've seen a lot of people saying that self-study courses don't sell and don't work and you have to have support. So I'm trying both of these things out so I can try and get some information and data and then share it with you. I am opening this entire experiment up to my audience. It's called the 2026 experiment. And if you want to be inside it with me, maybe you can get more comfortable about testing things because you'll be able to watch me test them. You'll be able to get ideas from how I test. You'll be able to see what changes that I make and why I make them as I'm doing them. And just have some experience kind of from the inside of experimentation and testing. And hopefully it will inspire you to get into more of a testy, experimental mindset as well, as I think it will really help you in a time where nothing is certain except for change. If you would like to join me, it is theunicornadvisory.com/2026. That is where you can go and join, and you'll be able to be part of the community where I will share everything that is happening with the experiments and the debriefs of the things that I test. So I would love to see you in there, and I hope that I can inspire you, whether you are part of the 2026 experiment or just whether you are someone trying to figure out what works in 2026. The best way to figure out is to start testing, to do things, iterate, get things out there quickly, like get some data, get some information, and then understand, why it worked or why it didn't in conjunction with knowing what that means for you. Because what worked or what didn't work is so individual and it is tied to you and your business. I will catch up with you on the next episode of Stop Guessing, Start Testing. I'm Sue McLachlan.